As the days go by, the weather has gotten crazy in certain parts of the country. And right now, in the great state of Texas, Mother Nature is kicking ass. Winter storms are tearing the state apart. And as the days go by, we are starting to find out that Texas, unlike the rest of the country, controls their own power grid. And we're starting to find out that Texas was advised to winterize their power grid by federal officials. And Texas being Texas, the Republican powers that be decided that they were going to ignore what the feds told them to do. We're not gonna winterize the power grid. We got this. And you saw what happened. The power grid collapsed. And in collapsing, you have the majority of people in that state looking for power, looking for heat, with none coming. Now, the Biden-Harris administration could have been real assholes and turned their back on a state that didn't vote for them, had no love for them, shut the doors in their face. But unlike 45, 46 decided, you know what? They need help. And as the president, I am going to make sure that FEMA helps the state of Texas. As of tonight, emergency orders have been put in place to help the state of Texas. Generators, propane, things of that nature are being sent to Texas. And assistance is being put in place for the state of Texas. Now, Governor Abbott, aka Governor Hot Wheels, who talked about seceding from the United States, succession is what we must do, but then had to turn around and eat crow and ask for help. And what has been done? Help has been extended. See, back in the day, my grandmother used to say, you never burn a bridge because you never know when you have to go back across it. Amazing what's going on with these red states. You know, the ones who said, we don't need you. You know, God don't like ugly and very little bit of pretty. But see, Biden-Harris administration, so much unlike that administration that was there before. You know, the ones that pissed on California when they needed help. That ain't being done to Texas, Oklahoma, or New Mexico. These states ask for help. They're getting the help they need. That plain and simple. Your previous administration told you that we got vaccine rollouts ready to go. Snuck their ass out the White House, hadn't set up anything. Biden administration came in, set it up, and of course they had some issues, but vaccine distribution has begun and is picking up at a record pace. But down in Florida, you got Governor Ron DeSantis, who is taking vaccine distribution and making deals with it. Um, Instead of doing the right thing, he is doing the political thing. He is taking vaccine distribution in Florida and making deals with the elite, with the wealthy. Yeah, taking away from deserving counties and making deals with the rich folks so that they can skip the lines. He's deciding that he wants to make a run, and he gonna make sure that those with money get what they need so that they can grease his palm, so they can take care of his campaign. Yep. It's funny what money can do. Look at the deal he made with Publix. The heirs to Publix and the owners of Publix put big time money in Ron DeSantis' hands. And you know what happened? They got the deal for COVID and vaccines in Florida. Funny how things work. Give me some money, I'll make sure you get what you need. But you know what? The public, they didn't take it like that. The public decided, you know what? Enough already. And Publix, which used to be so loved by people in Florida, now all of a sudden is being boycotted and catching hell. Yep, you may have some bomb chicken, you may have some great sandwiches, but now people are starting to see you for what you are. And they are starting to realize that, hey, we ain't got to put up with it. We'll take our business elsewhere. You know, getting back to what's going on in Texas, you still have millions in Texas without heat, and you have freezing temperatures. Hopefully, there'll be a break in the weather where people can catch a break and get it together. But this is what happens when you have a party that controls everything and has such a hate for the federal government that they ignore what they're told to do. They had to know that at some point their power grid wasn't going to hold up. And instead of doing the smart thing and winterizing it and getting it together so that nobody would be at risk, nah, they decided to just ignore what was going on. And now they've had a catastrophic failure. And politics be damned. You're playing with people's lives, and many have lost lives due to this storm. It makes no sense. You already had a governor playing with people's lives with COVID and refusing to close up and refusing to take measures to help people be safe. Now it's been a minute since Texas has had this kind of a storm, but it's here now. And the one thing about Mother Nature is just like death. She does not discriminate. She does not play games. You know, it's like Florida having hurricane parties and again, not taking things serious. There's no way in the world that people in Texas should be where they are right now. Because, in all honesty, this was something that could have been prevented. All people had to do was do what was asked. Those in charge, all they had to do was do what was asked. But they refused. We're not gonna do what listen to the government. We're the great state of Texas. We don't have to listen to the government. And now places like Austin, Kyle, San Antonio, fighting to get power, to get heat, food spoiling because there's no power to keep it fresh. This is crazy because state officials of that great GOP party, the party of Lincoln, decided, we don't have to listen to the federal government. The hell with the feds. We gonna do what we want to do. And now they've been caught short. They've been caught short. And hopefully, God will watch over everybody in Texas. And hopefully, many will come out on the right side. Right now, this country is trying to recover from 4 years of madness. And you can say what you want to, but that's what it was. 4 years of madness. 4 years of madness, hate, and destruction and evilness. You had a president who for 4 years was all about himself, not this country. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. The man spent 4 years in office. All he did was pass a tax cut for the rich. Did nothing. Nothing. And for those of you who want to sit back and holler, he gave us $1,200. He made sure we got stimulus. That makes you nothing more than just a cheap date. Because that's all that was. He did nothing for this country. Biden Harris hit the ground running, trying to clean up a mess that they did not make. And from the time that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris has hit office, they've been at work trying to clean up a mess that was put before them. If God say the same, they'll be able to try to get things back in order. But it's definitely going to take some work. So for those of you who keep pointing fingers and saying what they're not doing, just sit back and let these people do what they do. They got their hands full, but they are trying. Like I say, the vaccine rollout began. They're getting it in order. People are getting the shots. They're trying to combat getting stimulus to people. They're trying to combat people being out of work. Trying to get more states open up, trying to get schools open up so that these children can go back and get their education. But the one thing you cannot control is Mother Nature. You got the snows in the east, up north towards the Canadian border, and now Texas has been hit. And that's a big deal. Here in California, we're dealing with rains. The Coast Highway, Highway 1,